Hey guys, Jason Carter here. Welcome back to Jason Unleashed. It's Friday, the weekend is here. I'm so glad to be here with you guys. Thank you for watching. Awesome show. Someone amazing and just truly inspirational is on today. I am talking about host and journalist Danielle Young. Danielle Young is going to be on the show, and you guys need to get into her because she has become this hub of Black excellence through all of her content, throughout all of her content, and she's just an incredible woman. I love what she's doing. A safe space for people of color to come and have conversations and tell their stories. That's who Danielle is. In addition to all the outlets, hey Ava, love you back. All the outlets that she's worked for that are herald in Black culture, and she's just an incredible journalist, an incredible woman, and she's going to be chiming in just a few. Hella excited. You guys know the drill. Boom, 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 boom. You got any questions or comments? Hit me below, and let's bring Danielle in. Danielle, a neo soul connection dance song. Danielle, you're the commentary queen. Oh, hi. I had to give you a little sub for this Friday realness. Danielle Young, welcome to Jason Unleashed. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm outside. I wanted to have a
I
little
see. I'm just on
little
my
little. Hey, the couch is good, girl. The couch
I'm trying to
is
let the
where
ring light, and I just
it's
like,
where it's at. No, it looks good. It looks good. You're melanated, illuminated. Look really good. Look really good.
thank you.
Happy Friday, love. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh. Happy Friday. Busy.
Yeah.
Just kind of all over the place, but glad to have the weekend coming in, whatever the weekend means.
Uh-huh.
I don't know
Well,
what that
right.
means anymore.
And
It's not real.
holidays, it's not real. Holidays, the weekend, sleeping, it's like it's all just this melange of blurriness that you're trying to move through, and it's sad because we're used to having our lives be chronicalized at like points, right? Like 9 a.m. you go to bed. On Wednesday, the weekend's coming. Now it's like there's so many times where I go on, I'm like, what day is it, everyone? Like, happy Tuesday, and it's Friday.
No idea what day it is.
No idea. Well, I'm glad that today is Friday, and I'm glad I have you on the show. Yesterday on Instagram, you had said that you are doing more interviews because you don't like being interviewed. What is that?
I don't like it.
Why? You're so interesting.
Because like when you get interviewed, that's like you're telling your business, you're putting yourself out there, you're putting your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings. And personally, I'll I want to keep those to myself. Not to
I
be
feel
my
that.
business and put it out there, but like,
Ah, but you say you're putting it out there. But Danielle, you have become, and you've been. I don't want to say become because I think now we're it's a heightened sense of awareness when it comes to Black content. But for years, you have been this hub of Black excellence, telling Black stories, having opinions about Blackness and what's going on in our culture, be it the wonderful and celebrated or the dramatic and things that need to be called out.
yeah.
Let's take it back to the beginning because you're not an overnight success. You have been grinding it out for so many amazing outlets, Essence, BET, The Root, you name it. You have been on their carpets, you have talked to our stars, and you have talked about the issues. Becoming the Danielle Young you are now, take us back. Where did it start?
Well, I started professionally. I moved here to New York in 2006.
Uh-huh.
So that's where I started. I was doing a lot of freelance work, and just like getting what clips I could, essentially. And so then I started like basically. Let me see. How do I start this one? Because I'm trying to think of like professionally. I was mostly freelancing when I moved here because like I just didn't know anything and I didn't know anyone. But I had a friend of mine who her sister was starting a public relations company here in New York City, and she was just like, at the very least, she can give you advice on like how to move and like
Mm.
when you get up there, what to do. And so I hit her up. She ended up giving me like, because she was also a journalist, but she was turning into PR. She had given me a list of editors, like over 100 editors, and I just was like, oh, this is like a resource. So I just started emailing everybody.
Yeah.
One editor got back to me and was like, oh, well, let me know when you move to New York. And I was like, good enough for me. So that's what made me do the initial move. But that was Urban Latino magazine. My very first like professional writing clips was from that magazine. And then from there, I just started getting more interviews. I was networking a lot, going to a lot of parties. And because of party culture, I was able to like meet folks and, you know, give my clips to them and things like that, and connect in that way. So that's what got me a lot of like my writing. But I was a receptionist. I got a receptionist gig because I was doing temp work
Yeah.
when I first moved here.
Yeah.
And one of the temp jobs that I got, and that was a long term, was a reception gig. So I was at that desk making $30K a year, but doing my job, answering phones, doing, you know, meetings or whatever. But I spent my time there writing. And I was writing and collecting clips from Craigslist, getting jobs from different ad postings. And because that company was a public relations company, health public relations, but still shout out to Ogilvy. I got it. I had
Oh, Ogilvy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was Ogilvy Health World before they merged. And so I had an Ogilvy email, and I was like, oh, that's how I'm gonna like RSVP to parties. And because of like all of that, that is what got me networking. And I will always credit networking as being a big push behind me having jobs in this industry. You know, on top of the talent and whatever,
Right.
but like networking, I've never applied for any of my media jobs. Like I've never sat down, filled out an application, sent in a resume. It's always been word of mouth and meeting people. So I'll talk about that too if you know we have time. But so that was like my first real gig was Hello Beautiful. And
Yeah.
again, that was through networking. So a friend of mine was like, hey, they're looking for writers over here. Send in your clips. And I was like, dope. And I did. And I got contacted by the editor there, but it wasn't like, oh, here, write for Hello Beautiful. She was like, do this stuff for this thing called Black Atlas, which is like a Black travel site. I thought it meant that I would be traveling. It did not. Um,
Psych.
no, girl, research and write these articles about these places that you're not going to. So that's what I did. But I did that well enough to where the editor was like, okay, let's see how you do over here for celebrity, for gossip, because Hello Beautiful was mostly celebrity and entertainment gossip at the time. And so that went well too with all those freelance assignments, and position opened up for an associate editor there, and I got it. And because the editor was like, I want you to take this job, basically. And so I was an associate editor. And I was like, oh my God, here it is. This is the beginning. And so from there, I climbed and I helped create the lifestyle section over at Hello Beautiful because, like I said, it was gossip and celebrity culture. And so it became a place where Black women could have their fitness, their food, their culture, their travel, their news, all the other stuff around the fullness of a person. And that was what really got my feet in the door in media. And from there, I got the job at The Root, again, word of mouth. A friend was like, hey, we're looking for a lifestyle editor. And I was like, I'm kind of over this. I want to try something else, but I'll meet with you guys. So I met with them and I was told that it was a social content producer position. I had no idea what that meant. I
Right.
knew social, I knew content. I was starting to do videos at Hello Beautiful. I could produce, I got this. And so they loved me from the initial conversation, and it was just like, okay, I'll do this. But they charged me with essentially creating buzz around the Root, make the Root feel, you know, relevant,
Like,
cool.
right.
And I was like, oh, that was a big to do, but let me see what I can do. When I met with, then shout out to Danielle Belton, who's the EIC over there now, but it used to be when I first got there, Lynn Pitts. Lynn introduced me to the staff that was working in the New York office. Then it was owned by Univision. The Root was owned by Univision at the time. And so I went to the office in Midtown and she was showing me like the studio space. I was still new in media, but I had never been to a media company that had actual studio space. Like it was a Univision office, so they had TV studio. They had two of those with a green room in both and with a control room in both. And I was like,
You're like, hello.
I'm about to make some TV shows. I don't know. Because it also came with a studio manager, shout out to Israel, who edited and shot. And I was like, perfect. He was being wasted, literally. So I just, I linked up with him and we started creating content literally every day. at the Root, I started the Facebook Live weekly talk show that they had
Mm-hmm.
called The Root Live, and it
Yep.
tackled all types of issues in blackness, but just also in just humanness, but with the lens of blackness.
Mm-hmm.
So it was everything that was going on in the world, and things as simple as having HR professionals to talk about, you know, because a lot of the times as a Black professional, my experience is that we don't lean on HR. So we were having conversations like that. And then I also did a video series called Out Loud, which was like the inner thoughts and feelings of Black people out loud. And
Mm-hmm.
we tackled all the topics from police brutality to fatherhood, mental health, the first time you've been called the N-word, like all types of topics. And then from there, I started learning the ins and outs of video. And then I created Judge of Characters, which was a series that I wrote, produced, and hosted. And that really like set my chops for video and understanding journalism when it comes to that medium, and cranking out stuff that was poignant and funny, but still like you're learning. So
Yeah.
that was what, like, the Root, and my time at the Root, I will always credit for being the biggest push of my career from, you know, writer into multimedia journalism,
Sure.
and understanding what it's like to be a personality. Because shout out to Brooke Mentors, my first executive producer ever. She was the one that
Emma.
put me on camera.
Well, but see, here's the reason why you're such an amazing on-camera personality is because really good hosts also are fantastic and really good producers. And so they and people they don't realize that. And we know
That part.
I talk to a lot of different talents all the time. Also, Courtney Tesno says, "Hey, you got people
Oh, hey, Courtney.
you got people here in the chat celebrating you." But with all that content that you were creating back then, I mean, you are a content queen now. We're gonna talk about that for sure. But for you though, how healing was that being able to be a Black woman telling these stories? Because you moved through the world as a Black woman, you have experienced
Oh, yeah.
some of these traumas that we talk about daily, that we're talking about even more now, of course, because of the freaking civil unrest that we are now having in 2020. For you, how
That we've
healing was
been
that?
having.
Well, but
My videos are hella relevant today. That's
right,
crazy. Videos I
right.
did 5 years ago plus. Um, but what was your question? Sorry, I cut you off.
About you being this face and being this spirit and this conduit to speak and tell those stories of a culture that you are deeply a part of. Was that healing for you as well?
Oh my God, so healing, especially like at being at somewhere like the Root and having to work with women, because it was primarily led by women who understood the human nature of being Black, being a woman, but still having to report on these tragedies and things like that. I worked at the at Hello Beautiful when Trayvon happened, and so it wasn't as, but it wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't as warm. It was only because I was covering news, and this
Mm-hmm.
was more of an entertainment space, and so I didn't really have anyone to lean on in that respect. But once I got into the Root, and that was like our main focus was always news, opinion, Black culture. It made it so much easier to lean in on these people that understood what I was also going through. I remember 2016 in particular was a
Mm-hmm.
really tough year for so many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But besides Trump and things that happened, we also lost Prince. It was a lot of back-to-back police brutality deaths with Philando Castile and different things like that. And I didn't realize, because I've worked in media, I didn't realize that I was facing trauma. I just was reporting and trying to
Mm-hmm.
tell stories and trying to help people heal through the series and things that I was creating. I just didn't realize that I was also a part of it.
Okay.
I would like dissociate, I guess, and be like, well, you know how like a doctor sees death
Right.
every
You
day.
had a job to do. You had a job to do.
Yeah.
You had.
And so they're like, I mean, I'm a human, but like, I'm probably going to see 42 other deaths today.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I just was like, you know, I need to get this work done. But it wasn't until Prince passed, and not to make any other life less important or trivial in any way, but I think it was all the back-to-back stuff that was happening in 2016, and then when Prince died, and I had to call for my site, I had to call, you know, the Minneapolis Police Department, to ask, you know, any questions that I could that would lead us to know who it was that they found, and all. And it was just like, it took me a second, it took me a moment, and I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
this is really real. Like it's so I think that because I've always had the ability to luxuriate within Black publications ran by Black people, I've always had an extra layer of sensitivity and um, empathy
Hmm.
from my coworkers around what we are doing and how we are doing it. And I will always credit Danielle Belton for being one of the most absolutely like empathic and emotionally available bosses I've ever had.
Yeah,
Because
that's beautiful. Because
yeah, because
not many of those exist. You took the words out of my mouth, boo. It's not
I
even a
will,
unicorn. It's like
I will shout her name from the rooftops forever because like she really does a great job in allowing her staff to process and to feel and not to be bots and not to
right.
be robots and have to churn out these things. There's always a space for processing and just expressing oneself.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
that's
shout out to Danielle.
that's a beautiful sentiment because in an industry where the conversation is now daily about equality. Hey, Courtney again. Equality and across all sectors, across all corners of entertainment and
Hmm.
journalism and news, that you've been able to, like you said, luxuriate. Great word, luxuriate, and sit in a space that encompasses you, envelops you in a welcome feeling and a warmth. But with that said, though, where there's light, there's darkness in your career and in the time that you've been coming up to who you are now. Tell us about a time that you didn't experience that warmth, that you didn't experience that welcomeness, because I think that conversation is far more seldom than, oh my God, I love my job. It's more like, oh my God, the microaggressions at my job are real.
Like, well, microaggressions for sure. A little less in these Black spaces, I will admit. But
Hmm.
I've definitely experienced microaggressions in different ways. Um, Let me see, a time where I didn't feel supported or
Either it was supported outright racism, your work and your worth being undercut and not being seen, and having your non-POC counterpart, if there was that, celebrated beyond what you're putting. Because a conversation I'm having with a lot of Black talent and a lot of people that work in entertainment, just in the entertainment space, is the work ethic that we bring to the table is incredible. One. And two, ideas that are pitched and brought forth are then not seen as valuable until someone who was not of the experience says, "Oh my gosh, let's do this," and then and the people that have the power to bring that to fruition, like, great idea. But it was like
right.
the POC, and look, I be that I use people of color to be politically correct, but the Black person was the one
Right.
who the one who initiated, like we do when it comes to things that are very cool in culture. We initiated the great idea, but yet didn't get the credit for it. You know?
Right. Well, I mean, luckily for me, not my experience because I've been immersed in Blackness. Now, I did have internships and situations like that coming up where they were not Black publications, and you hear certain things. And I've also worked in these Black publications where there have been white employees within powerful positions that
Hmm.
certain things were said not like with a horrible intent, but like just with an ignorance.
Yeah.
So I mean, trying to think of something that really impacted me because I mostly like just be like, okay, I'm gonna move on from that. Um, because I've never experienced those type of things around like my ideas or anything. I've experienced something as silly and as simple as being an intern and being told by a white person that the person wanted their coffee this color, to
Ah.
touch my hand. So that was a fun time over at Hollywood Life when I used to intern there. I will shout y'all out. Um, but other than that, no. I what is disheartening, Jason, is experiencing those type of things and those type of non sisterhood, non bonding moments within places that are Black. You know,
Say it.
those
Speak on it.
that hurts a little worse, and I have experienced that.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, it's so interesting that you bring that up, because I'm I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like now that we are at home, where everyone's engaging in content like this, Danielle, and everyone's trying to grab for something to stay relevant in a time where there's not much action to be you don't have to go to work. Like if you, especially like entertainment's up and down, ebb and flows. This business works like no other, but there's something to be said about when you are not at least valued by your brothers and sisters for what you're trying to do, or when they don't see the worth of what you're trying to do. And in a time where we're on the front lines asking for equality, asking for to be treated like everyone else, but yet within our own community, there's hierarchies of coolness. Like there's a cool kids club, and if you're
Oh,
not
for
part of it,
sure.
you're not invited to the party. We don't see you, and it's so heartbreaking. It's beyond heartbreaking.
You know what I feel it is? It is when you are in it, when you are in the midst of it. I have a freedom, honey, um, that I never thought that I would be able to experience, within my career. And that's
Hmm.
stepping out on faith and doing this thing on my own. So a lot of the stuff I've let go. Um, but in the midst of it, it's hurtful because you're trying to get your job done. And I've never been, despite what people may think, I've never been a spotlight seeker. I've
Hmm.
always been someone who just wanted to get the story done, who wanted to get the story, who wanted to be a source and not regurgitated
Yeah.
news. And so that's always been my MO, is to
Hmm.
be the storyteller. And then the source of what other people are reading and taking from. So I can't ever say like people have gotten in the way of that a lot in my career. I'm trying to be careful with my words and
Yeah.
keep it cute, but also real.
Right.
So that's what I'm like thinking.
All
Um,
good.
yeah, people have definitely stepped in the way a lot of the times, and like I said, I don't intend to shine, but the way my life is set up and the way God wants me to move has required shine from me.
Right.
And that is not something that I'm set out to do. So I'm a believer, a strong believer in an experiencer of
Hmm. Hmm.
what's for me is mine.
There you go.
And it's no matter what you do, no matter how much power you think you hold, no matter what, it's going to be mine.
Right.
And so I've started and I've learned over time to move within that space and to
Hmm.
have the God confidence in that way, because the people who have power and who don't, but the people who have power, who, especially within this business, who keep people from things, who don't allow people to shine, who feel threatened by, or who act in ways that is any less than nurturing or a mentor
Hmm.
mentee relationship, sucks. Those people suck. But
True.
those people are also dealing with demons on their own.
Agreed.
Those people are also dealing with maybe not feeling like they have gotten the career that they wanted, or don't feel like they are worthy in the way that they are indeed
Hmm.
worthy.
Yeah.
Or maybe they are grasping for something that doesn't belong to them. So I've had to learn that all of what y'all got going on, the people that do those type of things, that's about you.
Right.
That ain't going to be about me. My work is going to always speak for itself, and nothing has told me that clearer or given me that message so powerfully other than taking this leap and doing this thing on my own, because I've
Girl.
always worked for major brands that have
Right.
been impressive to people, right? And you love to
Right.
hear it. You love to see at essence.com at the end of my email address.
Right.
But I needed to prove to myself, especially after being in this industry for as long as I have, it's never been them.
Right. Girl, oh my God. First of all, people in the comments are here for, and they're saying that your work is what your work does help you to shine because you do such great work. T- Danielle, a word, boo. A word. Cynthia
Yeah.
Erivo said you were special, and you definitely are special. And your work. Let's get into that because stories told. Real quick with Danielle Young, commentary, Queen of Commentary. You are like this mogul, this brand that just
Literally.
that just pumps out so much freaking content. Like, what are we doing on a daily but pumping out content? It's incredible. All these ideas. How do you have the energy, and do you feel
Ugh.
a responsibility to the community to make sure that you are a safe space for us to have our stories told?
Oh man, what a compound inquiry we just had there. Um, I am very used to working. I
Yeah.
love working.
Yeah.
It's just something that I love doing. And then, like I said earlier, there's nothing that feels as free as doing it for you. And I used to work this way when I worked for companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows that story. Like, oh, like you work so hard for these people, they don't care about you, this, that, and the
Right.
third.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
they do care about you, but it is still a company, it's still corporate culture, no matter how, liberal the spaces that you work in. But at the end of the day, I've been in this industry since 2006. I have seen people get fired after 15 years at this company in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
have seen, the waves come and go. I have seen the unemployed become the lead. I have seen the PA become the showrunner. I've seen it. Like, so I think that, moving within this space, um, you just have to be smart and open. And I
Mm-hmm.
move in that way. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think about your questions because I had separate answers, but now they're running in together in my brain.
My
Because you
bad.
mentioned like the
I
the the content and all of that. Like creating for me is second nature. Like I live in content. I see in content. I experience in content, and that sometimes can be annoying because sometimes I just be wanting to enjoy something.
mm-hmm.
So sometimes I do rebel in the sense of like I'm just not doing it. I'm not touching it. I have stuff I'm working on. So I'm getting used to the idea that like this is mine and I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do anything to choose the interviews. I get to choose the stories. But my main concern is always going to be to tell the stories. That is
Yeah.
like my intention of life is to prove that we were here, Black people, and that not only we were here, but we have stories worth telling. Because like nowadays, people are starting to see because it's cute and trendy, but people are starting to see that Blackness has been erased for a lot of our history has been erased from education,
Yeah.
and just from culture in general, to where people are still discovering things about America that we've been taught that are just not true.
Highly erroneous.
So yeah, and so I'm like, nah, if I'm here and I know I can do and I know I can put together stories and put together things that make sure that capsulize us. That make sure people recognize like, oh, okay, Black people, we were here. I consider myself a historian at this point as a journalist. So those are my main intentions and my goals. And yes, I get tired all the time, but who doesn't?
Right.
Lena Waithe, who is a mentor of mine, told me before, you are somebody's ancestor right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yes.
imagine if our ancestors was like, so tired.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The nerve, the nerve that
The
ancestors
nerve.
was like, you right.
Well, also, Lena also told you that the dream ain't it, though. The dream ain't it, because when you get the dream, that's when, look, people have rapped about it. Athletes have talked about it. There have been poems, soliloquies, sonnets, haikus about when you finally arrive at where you think you're trying to go, and you get there. It's like, whoa, this is not what I signed up for. So it's like, and I'm so glad you talk about autonomy over your brand and what you put out there and being able to own something, because I also think that's a huge conversation about, we're always asking for a seat at the table, but now it's like, well, no, I want to own the table. Like, I don't want to come. I don't want to pull
Yeah,
up to your. Wait, did you freeze? You froze, Danielle. You froze. Are you there,
I froze. You
Danielle? Hold on a
froze.
second. Oh, you're back. We're back. Are we back? Are we back? We're back.
Am
No, what
I
I was
here?
saying is just that. Yeah, you're here. I got you. You're blinking. You're blinking. I can see you blinking. You're good.
Okay.
What just about autonomy, about instead of us giving away our power, if you will, to an entity that controls the value and how they see us, and on any given day
Yeah.
could decide to devalue us. I own this chair I'm in. I'm pulling it up, and you can't take it away from me because I've created it. And there's something so freeing and so proud about that. So when you look at your content, because you're an Instagram girl, I was scrolling like Brian McKnight, Cynthia Erivo. Wait, did she just talk to Lena Waithe? Oh, wait, did Oprah say that you are a goddess? What's going like? That has to feel absolutely incredible. So autonomy, I think it's where it's at. But in this time of doing nothing, you say you get tired. When you're tired and you step away from being Danielle Young, the journalist, the host, the content creator, what do you do to have some self-care, to unwind, to be a beautiful Black woman of now?
Listen, sometimes the lash be over here. I enjoy reading. I enjoy writing. And I am writing a book proposal right now. I'm highly procrastinating on that. So there's moments that I take out to give myself analog moments, because
Hmm.
the digital stuff is a lot because I'm always here.
Right.
And it's to the point where it's become an addiction too. Like, so you know how like with an addiction, of course the person loves this thing because they're addicted to it, but in an addiction you also hate it
Hate
so
it.
much.
Word. Say it, Danielle. Oh,
So
you
you
froze
what you're
again.
frozen.
You froze. Danielle, come back to me. Come back to
I'm here.
me. Okay. Hey.
Am I here?
Oh, I'm here too. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Can you see me?
I can see
Okay,
you.
we're good. We're good. We're
I
good.
feel
We're
like
good. No,
I'm
girl.
Teddy Riley
Yes,
dancing.
you hate it. You love it. You get a dopamine rush from being. Hold on. Let's take it inside. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. It's saying poor connection. We're gonna go, Danielle. Okay,
I was
look,
about to
here we
say, oh,
are.
because you're outside trying to give us vibes. Look at you. Wow,
Well,
that looks, your
hey,
space looks really great.
thank you. I have great. I pay for really good internet everywhere, but today it's not, my friend. Let me get a stool because what you are saying is on the money. Hold on.
We're just gonna look
Okay.
at your. If we got a pool. Listen, that's how you know you're not here in Brooklyn.
Hi. So you were talking about addiction and social media, and because I mean we are on this digital space. That's where we connect with people now more than ever, and because of what we do, it's non-negotiable. But I do feel you on like I hate it. I'm so mad. I'm so mad that I put my phone down. I check it first thing in the morning. Instagram. So you
I'm
say you hate?
always checking and somehow never checking. I miss
Yeah.
everything, but I see everything.
Right.
I'm like, I need to stop. I lose total like hours doing nothing but
Uh huh.
scrolling. And so I'm just like, I have to take my breaks. I have to get off. I do. I really do.
Where have you been my whole life? Because I just said those exact same things to my husband. Like I've spent the last hour scrolling, and it's like a time tool. It just goes by.
And I'm
It's.
like, it's 9 o'clock. What?
I feel that. I feel that. So you read. You have a book proposal coming up. Does Danielle have time for love? Do you cook? Do you have a
She
puppy?
does cook. She does cook. And I like plating because I think it's. Oh, I almost dropped my whole tripod, honey. I do like plating because it's fun and it allows me to be creative with my food. Let me make
Yeah.
sure you are not falling over. You do it. I'm trying to use this little desktop tripod thing. I
The-
don't think I like it.
I hate them. I sent back three. I've ordered three from Amazon that are supposed to be the bomb. They all suck.
This is like, it's just not it because the ring light is over there instead of
Uh,
here. So you see how like the light is here. That's because the light is over there. But yeah, so I do cook. I do. I love plating and taking pictures and stuff of my food. I like Mary Jane. She makes me feel all right.
yeah.
Um,
Mary Jane.
and I'm often, I do try to use social media for good because, like
Mhm.
the DJs and stuff are all on here spinning. and like where else can you go and you can hear, you know, all your favorites in one night kind of situation. So
Right.
I'm always cruising for different DJs and stuff on Instagram. I'll hook it up to my speaker and literally like just dance.
Yeah.
So I spend a
Ooh.
lot of time just dancing around my little apartment, and taking those little breaks. I have a little outdoor space, so I go outside. I love watching the trees and the leaves and all that. So like I spend time with like my little joy list, and
Mm.
I guess that would be like the self-care and those like escapable moments.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
and as you should. I mean, there's no way you would survive what's happening and just the trauma of being
No,
a
because
human.
I'm a like, let's go, let's just get it. And
Right.
then I look up and I'm like, holy hell, I'm so tired.
Hmm.
Like, and
I
then I
know.
realized, oh, I haven't had a break. So I have to like understand what it means. And even like having people over the last couple of months be like, well, you do a lot,
Right. Yeah.
especially online, and you give a lot and as a host and this and that. And I was like, I've never thought about it like that, of the sense of needing to rebuild and recharge. I just thought like this is what I do.
Well, if you want to dance, if you want, my friend Lounging with Tony, who's a fan of yours, has a Zoom dance party. That's thebomb.com. It's online. Go.
Okay, lounging with Tony.
Get into him
I
because he
want
did
to do
it.
that.
It's Tony Request Live and it's incredible. I
Oh,
endorse it.
I'm gonna do that. Do
Hardcore.
I need to have my camera on?
I mean, you can look. Tony, slide into the DMs. Talk to Danielle. She's really nice, and get that going. But listen, Danielle, I know you got to go. I know you're a busy girl, but I wanted to ask you because
I know, right? What time is
you
it?
have
Oh,
you.
this
I
went
know,
by
I know,
quickly.
I know.
I
You're like I
love
got.
when people mean when they spend time with me and they're like, "This was so nice."
Well, I'm so honored to have you, and thank you for your time. And before you go, one last question, because I think when I watch you and I've seen everything you've done, and everything you is just so meaningful, from your interviews one on one to stories told to um, just all the stuff you put out. Is there one thing that you've done that when you look at it and you revisit it time and time again, you think, "Damn, I did that. That was so meaningful."
I definitely do. I think about that I feel that way with all of my content. Like ever since I started creating, I've always felt really good about my content.
Mhm.
You know, when I put it out, I'll be like, oh, this is so nice. I love how I did this. And I feel like I should always feel that way, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but I think my most prized possession would have to be Judge of Characters, the series that I created on the Root, because it was always so much fun. It was never labor.
Mhm.
Um, and having to write my own scripts and produce myself essentially. And I worked with an editor, like hands on, because I'm also a control freak.
Same. Well, you're a
Um,
Virgo, right? You're a Virgo,
I'm a
yes?
Virgo. I'm a Beyonce Virgo. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
until my notes are done, I don't think we need to keep going. That kind of Virgo.
Right.
So I I think that like, you know, I really got a chance to get to know myself as a personality, as a journalist, and then to have it be so it was wildly popular. I did it for a full year.
Mhm.
I was getting recognized on the streets, at the airport, just in different cities. I was like, what? Like one time my Uber driver was like, oh my God, I love you so much. And I was like, what? So it gave me a chance to really know how much my work was actually being,
Impacting people, right?
yes, because you do this stuff and you know people are watching and reading and whatever the case. But that was the first time that I had like an experience of a comment section in real life, in real time, and in person. So I was just like, wow, yo, people are really looking and paying attention to the stuff that I'm doing. That is nuts to me. It's never gonna get old it's literally just never gonna get old to me. So I think that was just one of the first times in my career that I felt like, whoa, she did
You
some stuff.
you're like, you see me. You see
Like,
me.
y'all see me, I'm working
Right.
so
Oh,
hard, but
hard.
y'all
Yeah.
actually see me?
Yep, yep. I know. And you know, and like real quick, it's because you don't do this for the kudos, you don't do this for the credit, you don't do this for like the pat on the back, but it's nice when you are celebrated, even if it's for a small amount of time or for a moment for the hard work. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what people say. There is when you give of your craft and your creativity, that's giving of your fucking soul.
It
And
does.
it's vulnerable, it's human, it's raw, it's out
Yes, and
there.
this one's, oh my God, I'm wearing one of your shirts. Can y'all see that?
Is
For
that Claire?
listeners in the
Is that Aunt Viv and Claire Huxtable?
it is, and down here we got. Can you see this one?
Yeah. Wait. Is that who? Wait. Is that Dinah
That's
Shore? Is that
Diane
Diane Carroll?
Carroll.
Diane. I said Dinah Shore. I'll lose my black card. Diane
And then
Carroll.
I'm taking it, and then there's Monique. Can you see Monique?
Yes, Monique.
It's
Look.
their Savage collection. They are the best, y'all. Black-owned business. Go get you one of these T-shirts. There's definitely one for every. Like, I saw it. I was like, I have to have this. I have so many versions. I have a Golden Girls version. I have a Big Frida version. So many versions.
So many versions. I am so glad that we get one unique limited edition version of you because
Oh,
you are so incredible and Danielle, thank you for your time. You know I was in those DMs for days like,
he
hi boo.
really was, you guys. Like, I don't be trying to be funny. I just hate it on this side of the coin. But I also know how important it is. But I also am just like, no. What am I going to
Well,
talk about?
look, you talk about you because you are incredible, and thank you for your time. I'm
Thank
honored. I'm gonna let you get
you.
on with your day. You guys go to her Instagram right now and go to YouTube, check out her content real quick with Danielle Young. Stories told, commentary, queens of commentary. It's all there, and all the best to you. Keep on killing the game. You have my
Thank
support,
you.
fan for life, and you have a great weekend. And keep on smoking that Mary Jane. Mary Jane.
That's the plan, Jason. Thank you. Before you cut me off, thank you for being so awesome and amazing, so energetic, so fun, open and honest about everything, and definitely diligent. We love to see it.
Hey girl, you know I'm not a Virgo. I'm on the cusp of Libra and Virgo, but I get that. You know, you gotta you gotta stick to itiveness is a thing. It really
Yes.
is. It
Oh,
really is.
I see the mixture of both. I see it.
All right, boo. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.
You too, love. Bye, you guys.